It was a rainy, stormy night when I found myself driving down a desolate road far from the nearest town. My car's headlights barely pierced the thick darkness that seemed to swallow everything around me. I'd been driving for hours, following the directions my friend gave me to her remote family cabin, a place she insisted was perfect for a weekend getaway. But as the storm raged on, I started to feel uneasy. I thought I heard something, soft, distant whispers, but I shook it off. The wind and rain could easily trick the ears, right? But as I passed an old, abandoned house with broken windows, a chill ran down my spine. My eyes darted to the rearview mirror, and for a split second I thought I saw something moving in the shadows behind me. I blinked and the figure vanished. I was almost there. The cabin should have been just up ahead. The road narrowed as the trees closed in, creating a tunnel-like effect. And then it happened. The car sputtered, the engine stalled, and the lights flickered out. I sat there in the dark, surrounded by the dense forest, the only sound the rain pounding against the roof. I tried the ignition again, but nothing. The storm was too fierce for any phone signal, and there was no one around for miles. I got out of the car, determined to find shelter. That's when I heard it again, the whisper. This time it was louder, more distinct, as though it were right behind me. My heart raced. I spun around, but the forest was still. I hurried to the cabin. When I reached the cabin, I found the door slightly ajar. I pushed it open, the hinges creaking. Inside it was colder than the storm outside, and the air smelled musty, like it hadn't been lived in for years. I cautiously stepped inside, but the floorboards groaned beneath my feet as if protesting my presence. And then I saw it, a shadow in the corner of the room. At first I thought it was just my mind playing tricks in the dim light, but as I stepped closer, the shape moved. It was like a figure, tall and thin, its outline flickering in and out of sight. The whispers returned, now a chorus, filling the room, growing louder and more frantic. My hands trembled and I could barely breathe. The figure, no, the shadows themselves, seemed to be closing in on me. I turned to flee, but the door slammed shut with a deafening bang. I ran to the window, but the glass was fogged, the outside world completely obscured. Suddenly, I felt something cold brush against my arm. I froze. The shadows were no longer distant. They were here, right next to me, their whispers now turning into unintelligible murmurs, a language that didn't belong to this world. I could feel their presence all around me, their cold, unseen fingers grazing my skin. The room grew darker, suffocating. I screamed and pounded on the walls, but no one could hear me. The shadows tightened, pulling me deeper into the suffocating blackness. And then, just as quickly as it had started, everything went silent. When I awoke, it was daylight, the storm gone. The cabin was empty. I was alone, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed me back. I drove away, never looking back, but sometimes in the quiet of night, I still hear the whispers. And I know deep down that the shadows are still watching, waiting for the next time they'll take me.